I just have to be awake for it still. That's my challenge.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's a good high volley angle.
Yeah, I think a couple of things to highlight here. Let's go back to the start here. So the gentleman on this side pinching, trying to get the volley, that's fantastic to a T serve. Isn't able to get there. Pretty good deep volley here. And she does the right thing. I'm talking about the net player on the other side, and she shifts towards the middle. Yeah, but I think if she's a little bit more ambitious here, she can get this ball. So it goes up in the air, and I think it's kind of one of those where yours, but I think that, have a look where it bounces. I mean, it's not too far deep of the service line, and her partner ends up taking this inside the baseline and coming to net. So if I was the lady on the other end, I would encourage her, you can go get that ball, because if she gets that ball, then she can hit it straight at the net guy here, and who's got a very tough reflex, or she can angle it away over this way, and more than likely hit a winner. So just a little more offensive from her, I'd like to see. And then as this gentleman comes to the net, you see him hit a good volley there. Now I ask you, what does he do on the other side here? He's just hit a good deep volley. There's another volley.
Yeah.
And there's his winning volley.
Yeah.
But what do you think that he could have done to make things a little easier on him?
Well, I think that earlier than that, he could have potentially gone through the middle or at the net players down the line. Was that one of the options?
Okay.
Let's see, one more time here. So the first one he plays as well, and he recovers, pinches the middle here. Does a good job there. Now with this one here.
Yep. He definitely has the option to sort of come in through here, or maybe even through there if he has the skill to do that. That's a bit of a harder shot.
Right.
One thing I noticed was that after he hit his first volley here,
he didn't move in,
he's got 1 foot inside the service line, and then he holds his ground there.
Yes.
And then he volleys, and then he holds his ground again.
He could have come closer, hey?
So I would tell him, I think if you close a little bit more, then perhaps you can have an easier time on your next volley. But I'm guessing that it could be a situation of what we talked about earlier and what you mentioned. Maybe he plays with this lady a lot, and people lob over her, and he has to be wary to be able to come, across that way and cover a lob, and therefore he doesn't close too tight. So if he came back with that argument, I'd say, okay, you know it better than me, that's fine. But if not, then I would definitely encourage him to close the net a little bit more. This is an athletic shot, and look at that racket work here. Makes contact, angle, actually pronates and hits an angle. And the guy at the net here is like, oh my God, look at that shot.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
I mean, in that case, we saw his positioning that was staggering up at the net. So it was, the player who came in was a little further behind the net player. Yep. And, we often get asked by players, are you trying to establish that net placement so that you're side by side with your net player, or are you coming in and staying a little bit further behind your partner? And, I guess partially depends on players' ability, but also, on their skill level to get that lob. Is that sort of what you see as well, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've actually, I have heard from very reputable coaches that I think are unbelievable coaches say that the staggered approach is a good approach to have. Personally, with me playing, I want both my partner and I a bit closer to the net, putting pressure on, because again, I want to encourage the opposition to lob, because if they get it wrong, then we have a smash.
You get an overhead.
They get it wrong and the ball's out. And it's pretty tough to hit a really effective lob, particularly against players, who are agile or good movers, which, depending on your age and stage, you certainly don't, you certainly can be, or maybe you're not. So that kind of would dictate a little bit on whether you do have a bit of a staggered approach or whether you can both be up.
Right. Okay.
Did I answer that, or did I sit on the fence there?
No, you full on answer that. What I need to do is Google you playing some overheads. I'm sure you have an amazing smash.
Well, actually, you know, that's an interesting topic because earlier, like I told you earlier in my career, I was a bit worried and scared of the lob, and so I didn't close that hard. And also, my volleys were my strength, so I was pretty comfortable at hitting a low volley or any sort of volley. Yeah. But then later in my career, actually, it's a Canadian coach, Louis Caillet. He taught me the correct movement to go back for an overhead. And then I went away and worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And then I became so confident in my movement going back to an overhead that I began to close a lot more later in my career. And that helped me tremendously to put more pressure on because I felt so much more confidence with going back for the overhead.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, last time I saw Louis and we worked on some things in regards to the overhead, you know, he would demystify that space and he would say to players, you just have to get to the white line, the service line, and you can cover the rest of the space with an overhead. No problem. You know, you get lobbed, just get to the white line. And it's incredible how much players change their approach to the net because they know I just got to get to that white line. I don't have to go back all the way to the baseline to cover a lob. I just have a couple of steps and I'm there.
Yeah, and by the white line, you mean the service line, correct?
Exactly. Just get back to that service line. Yeah.
Yep. If you beat the ball, you know, that's in the air to the service line, then you have a great chance to get, you know, your racket on the overhead. So
exactly.
Absolutely, that's something good. Louis says a lot, and something that, you know, thankfully he taught me.
Good. That's awesome.
Yep. Should we move on?
Good to hear. Yes, let's do it. You have a few more points.
I think we got some more in different combatants now.